A father drives drunk, crashes with his kids inside, blows a .461 BAC, one of the highest ever seen. The judge? Shocked, furious, and left with no choice.
Kingsway Transportation, 25WA39024A and B. We show caused you. You forced us to show cause you. What's your name?
Charles Harvey.
Why haven't you paid these?
Their number of tickets, sir. I called and talked to the officer and someone else when they first issued the ticket. My company's, I lease out my trucks and trailers, and they issue a ticket to me, to Kingsway. Kingsway don't just own the trucks and trailers. They leased out. They're not up under my authority. People who drive the trucks and trailers run up under their authority. So I was telling them, I don't know why they issued it to me. It's supposed to be issued to all of them legally running the trucks out there.
You're the principal of Kingsway Transportation, though, right?
Yes, it's actually Kingsway Investment doing business. That's Kingsway Transportation. So that's probably why you got both things. But neither one of those companies has their authority. Neither one of my companies has authority to drive motor carrier on the road. They're leased to, I lease my trucks and trailers out, and those guys have their own authority. They run. So I don't know why the officer put it to my on the registrations. It has.
Well, you're the owner.
Right, I'm the owner of the vehicles.
Right, I know, but they wrote, these are attached to the owner. They could write them to the owner too. It's defective equipment and improper display of plate.
Motor carriers required to have a DOT MC number to run out on there, and anybody that runs up on a motor carrier, you have to do your own inspection. That whoever authority that is, they are responsible for everything, not the person who, you know.
You own the truck.
I just own the truck, but not the authority. It's like I'm a rider. If like rider, you lease the trucks out to you, you go rent and ride the truck. I mean, that's just riding.
Call in Mr. Urick, please. I'll get Mr. Urick. I got him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you come in here, please?
Of course, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'm gonna let you explain this to the prosecutor.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, you know, semi trucks that runs on the road, you have to have a DOT or MC number to be legally on the road.
I get it, but you own the vehicles.
I own the vehicle, but it's authority, meaning that when you run up on the DOT or MC number, you're required by law to inspect your trucks, to make sure everything is legal and do everything legal on the road.
So am I if I'm a driver. Listen.
I'm not the driver.
Hang on. I know. Your name?
William Urick, I'm in City Wood.
I don't understand what he's trying to tell me here. We've show caused this company. These are Woodhaven tickets. He acknowledges that Kingsway Transportation, of which he's the principal, owns the vehicles. But he's saying they can't be held responsible, and I don't understand what he's telling me because, as you know, an owner could be cited for defective equipment or the driver or both. And he, as far as I'm concerned, is the owner based on what I'm learning here. I mean, that's who they wrote him to, was Kingsway Transportation. So you can't just come in here 7 months later after the fact and tell me, Judge, I don't know these tickets. The second one's for improper display of plate, which are all functions of what the owner has to do. So I'm going to let you talk to him. If you have a different opinion or he convinces you, you can tell me.
Your Honor, we don't, both in the realm of civil infractions as well as misdemeanors. Corporate entities can be charged.
Right. I don't know why you're saying you can't be charged. You can go explain it to him for 5 minutes. If he doesn't buy it, you can go down the hall and post a bond and file a motion to set aside the judgment. You didn't show up. Your company didn't show up back on August the 5th. So you can't just come in there and say, no, this isn't my responsibility. You guys were supposed to be here. We sent you a notice. You should have been here. Go talk to him. And otherwise, you're going to have to post a bond and file a motion to set aside judgment. But
Thank you, Your Honor.
why?
I didn't consume alcohol that day. It was marijuana.
I told you to go and test that day. Hang on. I told you to go and test that day, and you just blew off the order. And now I'm supposed to take you in this program?
Your Honor, that day we discussed that Bill trying to go over there after court and it was closed. Then I went to work and I came back and like I stepped out of training. We discussed this and I showed you evidence and the Saturday.
Who discussed this?
You were my probation officer at the time.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You haven't been in front of me since the 16th. I ordered you to go and test that day.
That was the day I showed you the pictures of the train. I've been going ever since.
So we had come back, Your Honor, on that bond violation. We had brought in the evidence we had about how we instructed him to get him back timely. By the train, we talked with the probation department. They also testified that they received notice from my client that there was an issue, and that's what stopped him from testing that same day. But as mentioned, Your Honor, he has been testing ever since, and he hasn't had any problem. We did discuss this with the court. We thought we were beyond that here today.
I didn't even. Have you been representing throughout?
Once we began discussing, I remember I had represented him a couple times prior, and I do remember that particular hearing where we went over this.
Is that like in early January?
No, I think it was more like December, but in December.
Yes.
Yep.
I don't know what happened on this. I'm going to have to check into this.
Sure, Your Honor.
I sure didn't make very good notes. John Cole, let me double check something here.
Your Honor, when he appeared that day on that bond violation, he had emails with him that he communicated with probation, explained what was.
Tell Beth I need her on this one.
Might have looked at him.
Why don't you have a seat 1 second right behind you there? Tell Beth THC, not alcohol. And then I found him guilty of a violation of bond on December 16th. And I ordered him to test that day. And then I'm told that we had a hearing by Mr. Crawford, I think, where the gentleman was stopped because of the trains. He took pictures. But then on the 22nd, she swore out a new violation saying he didn't appear for testing as ordered on December 16th. And I was going to hold a hearing on January 7th, which was the same day as the sentencing. We came here on the 7th, and I don't know if I ever held a hearing or not, but I was concerned because I didn't even know this gentleman. I thought this was Judge Hessen's case. He's got a 461 on the breathalyzer, so for the blood draw. So I want to know what kind of notes you can decipher there.
Yes, Your Honor. So in Emily's file, you are correct as far as the flow. He was violated for being positive THC during bond. You ordered him to go for that testing on the 16th. He did not go. At the last hearing on January 7th, we were prepared to sentence him into sobriety court that day, but Emily had put Judge Hessen's name on the screening report. You thought that it was Judge Hessen's based on that information. Because he had been on bond for such a short time and under bond violation, and you scheduled sentencing to today.
So I don't need to address,
I don't believe there was a finding on the 7th because you felt that the case was Judge Hessen's. So I don't believe you held the bond violation hearing or sentencing.
does that strike a bell?
There wasn't a sentencing, but we had the fullest discussion we could. It was essentially the hearing, we informally called it that. Everybody testified, he testified as to what happened, you thoroughly wondered. I asked him some questions and
And then I said I was not going to proceed with the bond violation.
yeah, I think because of the Hessen.
Are you prepared to do this? Do you know that this is like top 2 highest breathalyzer or blood draws I've had in my 32 years as 31st, that's my 32nd year as a judge, and 42 years as a lawyer? You're lucky you're not in a casket somewhere. So I hope you're scared to death. If you're not going to make it. You had a 4.61.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
I'd love to hear it.
Your Honor, I've been sober since November 7th, willingly, and I came in myself to turn myself in because of the warrants. And since I've been on probation, I've been going to my AAs, testing and everything. And I want to say, due to the probation, it pushed me all the way to be sober. And I appreciate everything this courthouse has done to help me do that.
You had young daughters in the car.
Yes. Yes. And I'm ashamed of that.
You drove like a maniac.
Doing the speed limit, but I was.
The point is that you drove off the road on Allen and crashed into a ditch. The officer observed tire marks north of the vehicle's location stretching back 100 to 150 feet in the snow. They indicated that the vehicle was traveling southbound on Allen, drove off the road to the right south, he says, of Hidden Oaks. The vehicle continued traveling southbound through the ditch, came up onto the north side of the embankment, struck a manhole cover, and then came to a final rest in the location where it was found. So, I mean, this was like, really, you are so fortunate that you didn't die or any of your kids. And this scares the devil out of me. If it doesn't scare you, they should have charged you with OWI 3. You got 2 prior convictions. You got one in 2011 and one in 2022. I don't know who dropped the ball on this one. Maybe they made up their mind. I don't know. But at any rate, he pled guilty to operating under the influence occupant less than 16, which is a 1 year, which I'm fine with. But wow. And I'm going to take you at your word. I see the pictures in here. Your lawyer's a good lawyer. He wouldn't lie to me. But man, I'm worried about this one. I don't know why they didn't charge that. Boy, somebody did drop the ball because they went state. All right, counsel, what would you like to say?
My client already kind of spoke to this a bit. I mean, he feels terrible and ashamed about this. You know, he needs help. He hasn't had control for he's probably able to say he's starting to get his arms around it a little bit, and he's looking forward to being in the program to continue to stay on the right track. And he understands he has responsibilities, he has children, he's got what's left of his life left, so he wants things to be better. He genuinely does, and I think anybody who would talk with him would realize that. So he feels terrible about things so far, but he's going to improve. He realizes he needs to change his life, and he understands and jeopardize his life at that time and his health moving forward with this level of drinking.
Anything?
Turn.
I can't not send you to jail today. There's no way I can do it in this case. It's a third offense. You had 6 times the legal limit. You had kids in the car. You drove like a maniac. And I get the fact you just did it because you were intoxicated, not because you were having a joyride. 2 years probation. Listen, there's nothing I can do on this one. There's nothing I can do. I'm not giving him a long time. I'm going to give him credit for what he's done. 2 years probation. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court or violate the law. If you change your address, your place of employment, or home telephone number, you must notify probation. You have to report as directed. No alcohol, no marijuana, no illegal drugs. You're not going to any place that sells you just like a bar. You're not going to a party where there's alcohol or drugs. Submit to chemical testing PBTs and ETGs on demand at probation. You're to submit to chemical testing PBTs and ETGs on demand at probation. Complete an additional 90 days on the SoberLink device. Attend 12-step meetings 3 times a week and provide written proof. Obtain an AA/NA sponsor. Attend all substance abuse treatment in a facility approved by probation. Attend the Victims Impact Panel. Attend and complete the ARM program. Report to sobriety court status reviews with me every 2 weeks and obtain and maintain employment with proof provided to probation. So those are so far the terms and conditions here. Also, he has 1 day credit coming. Just give me 1 second, counsel, okay? I'm in order that you pay fines in the amount of $200, costs in the amount of $250, $75 victims' rights fee, $50 justice assessment, 5 1/4, screening fee 60 for 585. Probation fees are $480, bringing your total to $1,065. You have $360 in sobriety court fees, bringing your total to $1,425. I'm going to go with attorney fees. I'll still only go 40. That's $1,465. Court work program fees, $175. That brings your total to $1,565, $1,640. I'm going to order 20 days.
Judge, he does also have a $45 suspension fee, just to let you know on that.
Okay, so you'll have to pay that too. 20 days jail credit, 1 serve 19. I'm going to have you serve 9 days jail forthwith, 5 days on the court work program, and 5 days of community service. I'll let you do that community service. I'm going to give you all the way to June the 15th to complete your community service. You have 21 days to appeal, 14 days to apply for a court-appointed lawyer if you cannot afford one. If you violate, you could get 1 year. This pains me to do it when I see somebody doing well in bond phase, but I just cannot, under these circumstances, justify not sending you to jail today. Can he pay? He has a bond of $200. How much more can he pay today?
Your Honor, my client was prepared to pay $100 today.
So is the bond in his name? It is. So he's going to pay $300 today. And then how much can he afford to pay weekly? Well, let's start.
Your Honor, presuming he has a job and he gets out of jail, you propose to pay $300 a month. I really can't promise that until he gets out. You know.
Okay, let me check something here. Pay $300 today.
Your Honor, my client can pay $100.
He has a bond.
Oh, okay.
$300 today, $300 per month. I'll start that beginning March. The 25th. Okay? And if at any time you need more time, you tell the court and I'll be glad to give you an extension. You know, if you weren't coming up here to meet the probation, you could tell me and you could call and I'd go on Zoom with you and we'd go from there. I do wish you well, sir. Good luck to you. Thank you.
And Judge, I'm gonna take his sober link to deactivate it for the jail.
Yes.